J on the beat. J on the beat. J on the beat.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar, and thank you for joining us today to discuss technology and hardware solutions around healthcare. My name is Pallavi Gupte, and I am with the Rahi India team. For those of you who may not know us yet, Rahi is the global IT and AV solutions provider. We have a presence among 6 continents across 33 countries in the world. We provide a full life cycle of design, products, services, and solutions to custom fit the technology needs of corporations and healthcare providers globally. Our goal of the webinar is to present you with information regarding the challenges faced by the healthcare industry to adopt the healthcare, especially the telehealthcare environment. Since the start of the pandemic, the use of technology to improvise the staff and patient experience became the primary concern. Our aim as an AV service provider was to make this experience secure and seamless to all our users from all subverticals in the healthcare industry, be it hospitals or life insurance policies. Since every user's needs and environment is unique to what you're trying to accomplish, it's important to bring a solutions provider like Rahi into the conversation early to help identify needs and what technology and hardware will best help solve these challenges. For today's webinar, we wanted to bring Zoom and Rahi into the conversation with our very valued customer, Shriram Life. Since these two companies have been at the forefront of solving these challenges through their products and technology and have placed an emphasis around solutions for healthcare. Their focus and goal during COVID are to engage individuals and providers with a very immersive experience while simplifying technology for users to make this experience seamless. With that said, let us introduce you to the panel. We have Ron Emerson from Zoom, who is the head of healthcare at Zoom. We have our very valued customer, Shriram Life, and Guru Shekhar, who is the product manager at Shriram Life. Last but not the least, we have Rohit Singhal from Rahi Systems, who is our VP of Sales. Thank you for joining us on the panel today. Okay, so Ron, thank you for joining us today. On this panel, it really means a lot to us. So Ron, can you just let us know a little bit about yourself and your background and your role at Zoom?
No, thank you very much. My background is as you can tell probably by the way I'm speaking, I'm from the United States. I was in the United States Marine Corps, and I got out of the Marine Corps and I got my bachelor's degree in nursing, and I worked in the clinical setting for a while in acute cardiopulmonary. I did home health nursing, worked in some skilled nursing facilities to really get a better understanding of the whole healthcare system across sort of the continuum from the hospital to the home to aged care facilities and so on. I've also had an opportunity to work with other organizations where I've been to 46 different countries, and I've been to many places in India, and it's a real pleasure to be here on this call today. Been to, of course, Delhi, Mumbai, Lucknow, Chennai, but all over different places in India, developing and discussing and working on telehealth programs.
Wow, we're really glad to have you on the panel. Hi, Rohit. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what it is that you do at Rahi and your role and your background?
Hello friends, my name is Rohit Singhal. I'm the VP of Sales at Rahi Systems. I take care of sales for India and the SAARC countries. Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about the solutions and services that Rahi provides, specifically for healthcare that ensures smooth and efficient functioning during today's times?
So Rahi team basically specializes in the meeting the unique audio and video requirements of healthcare environments. So we deliver like high quality audio, user-friendly systems, reliable systems. We also offer an extensive range of turnkey solutions that can help the hospitals improve the performance, and they can also streamline the healthcare delivery. So few of the basic like applications like start with onboarding on the VC platforms, educating the customers on the VC applications. And we also provide a lot of on-demand like support services for the VC applications. Our AV team also provides a lot of hardware integration for our customers. To start with, like there are integrated operating room like solutions. To further elaborate this, you can have a live recording of the operations. You can also like stream it, record it, archive it. So these are solutions which we specialize. There are training room solutions which help the students, faculty to collaborate with each other. Right now, you can see all the medical institutes are in the shutdown mode. So these smart classrooms enable the students to effectively continue their studies, collaborate with the patients. We also help them build administrative boardrooms where top management meetings can happen. There are other integrated audio and video devices that we provide for the doctors, for the patients, so that they can have high quality audio and video interactions with each other. So there are some mobile conferencing solutions, because in today's scenario, you have to collaborate anywhere, whether you are at home or you are in the hospital or you are somewhere else. So you even the remote doctors team of experts, they collaborate with each other. So these kind of mobile conferencing applications really help them to collaborate effectively and easily. There are sound masking solutions where it provides a lot of echo cancellations and sound masking for the patients. So these are few of the solutions that help our customers in the healthcare industry. So the main criteria that we see is the high quality of audio and video integrations. Also, there is a return on the investment. Customer need not necessarily buy all the hardwares. Now, in this pandemic, embracing the technology is the necessity. At the same point of time, the investments have to be safe, secure. So even with the existing hardware, we make the users implement the digital transformation within their environments. Now our solutions are very simple, easy to deploy. There are users who are less tech savvy. There may be patients who are not that digitally literate. So those kind of simple and intuitive solutions are being provided by Rahi Systems. We comply to the complete compliance and security features so that patients also feel secure about their data, which they share with the hospitals over the virtual environment. There are a lot of device integrations that are quite challenging for the doctors, for the patients. For example, there is a remote camera integration that is required. There are some medical equipment, medical applications that need to be integrated. So Rahi helps to provide end-to-end solutions for our customers.
Okay, Rohit, thanks so much for sharing. So now moving on to Guru Shekhar.
Hi, Guru Shekhar. Thank you for taking the time out to join us on this panel as a valued customer. We would really love to know a little bit about you and your role at Shriram Life, and a little bit about Shriram Life and what your company does.
Hi, this is Guru Shekhar, working as a project manager for Shriram Life Insurance Company Limited. I'm taking care of all IT infra from Shriram Life Insurance Company. So Shriram, basically, all people are known as Shriram Chit Fund only. So in Shriram Group, so many companies are there, nearly 24 companies. In that, Shriram Life Insurance Company also one of the major. Okay. So we are the Shriram Life Insurance Company Limited and providing the life insurance policies, as well as before life insurance policy issuing the healthcare that mandatory, they will check that health condition. Depend upon health condition, the policies will issue. Depend upon health condition, the policy sum assurance also may be vary. That's it.
So to begin with, Ron, the pandemic as a situation, was new for all of us. How do you think technology, has helped medical representatives around the world when a physical diagnosis wasn't possible?
Yeah, I mean, it really became a necessity. And if you look at pre-COVID, when you sort of some of the statistics that we have, and some of this data might be a little more US centric, but I think it sort of holds true from what we're seeing globally. If people have the opportunity to see their doctor over, let's say, a device, like maybe on their phone from their home, the utilization was less than 3%. So, it was just sort of entrenched in us to go to the physician, and that's what we did. We would go to the doctor. But out of necessity during COVID to decrease exposure, we would see those levels 80 to 90% of actual consults were conducted from virtually, right? And some of the data points that we have, again, I apologize that this is more US centric, but we see a lot of these trends holding true globally, that about 50% of them, Forrester had a report that about 50% of them last year of the visits, the virtual visits, were for just everyday ailments that we would normally go to the doctor for. Around 38% of them were mental health. And then actually the small percentage and the rest of them were actually related directly to patients with COVID. So virtual health became a necessity, and it really kept healthcare moving as a way for people to have connectivity and to get through COVID.
We saw a sudden surge of telemedicine consultations, in the COVID-19 situation. Do you think that these kind of consultations will continue once the pandemic ends?
We do, and there's quite a bit of data that's actually showing, now that physicians and patients are familiar with the technology, that we understand the increased efficiencies and some of the better clinical outcomes that we can actually get from utilizing distant technology and virtual visits, that it will continue. Some of the data, and again, as we look around, if you look at sort of globally, if you look at more developed countries, what we see in some cases is that, of course, it was at 90% of the visits were actually virtual during COVID, but post-COVID, and this is a little bit more anecdotally in some cases, but when you talk to organizations, they say, 15 to 30% of their outpatient visits will be by the use of virtual technology to actually see their doctors. So most systems and most healthcare organizations have this at some level, and they're utilizing the technology, and they realize that this is a key component to increase efficiencies. And then on the private side, they need to do it for basically it's a consumer driven market. How do we provide better service and easier access to our patients that our competitors won't? On the public side, we want to increase efficiencies. We want to basically provide efficacy where we're providing quality care, but also equity of care. So people can, regardless of where you live throughout the country, you have the same access as those who live in the larger urban centers.
So Guru Shekhar, Shriram Life, being a healthcare insurance provider, provides a number of services and solutions online. Can you shed some light over, the online purchase of healthcare solutions? And I know that, Shriram Life also provides a 24/7 digital service. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. Before, whenever we say before COVID or after COVID only, we need to say mainly. So before COVID, all the physical documents and all we are collecting from the customers. After COVID starts, we are taking care of, we are developed the app services for policy issuing also. Due to that applications, we are generating the policies in online only without any delay.
How challenging has it been for you to reach out to people digitally?
Yeah, actually, we are reaching nowadays due to this pandemic situation. We are reaching all digital way only. There is no physical way. Okay, in that digital way, we are facing that data security is the main concern. Anyhow, we are taking that necessary precautions, and we are reaching to people on digital way manner only.
So Rohit, a lot of people have moved, to virtual platforms. As an organization, was this transition to a digital platform hard for you?
So this transformation, it was not very easy for the customers to adapt. Like as you can see in India, most of the people had the mind to go to the doctor physically, meet in person, then do the consultation. Even doctors, not to mention they also had the fear whether they will be paid or not. They may not get the consultation charges. But yes, there are applications. These applications has really changed the way the healthcare industry has moved in this COVID pandemic area. The doctors had to learn the platforms. The patients had to adapt because there are patients from different backgrounds, different age groups. There are people who have not yet moved to smartphones. So just imagine telling them to do the teleconsultancy or the telehealth consultancy. But yes, with the this simplified Zoom healthcare platform, healthcare solutions, it has made the transformation a bit easy for the customers as well as for the hospitals to adapt.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Rohit.
So Zoom is a very major, telehealthcare software provider in the market today. So providing secure and uninterrupted service is very important right now. How do you ensure that the product provides secure and seamless service to the customers?
No, that's That's a great point, and it is. I mean, in healthcare, we're always concerned about protecting patient health information, and there's really four components to that. There's security, there's privacy, and then there's administrative, and then there's physical safeguards. So to go over each of them, what Zoom focuses on at a very, very high level. Zoom acquired a security company about a year ago, and we've put so much focus on sort of those key four elements to conduct all of those and allow healthcare professionals and others to be able to have privacy and security. So when you look at the privacy piece, if you look at the secure button when you're in a video call, that basically allows you to authenticate who comes into a meeting. So you know if it's the right patient. Once the patient's in an actual session with you, you can lock that room down so others cannot come into the session. You can immediately stop a session. When you send the email to them to actually do the download, they have to sign in. So you have another form of authentication as well as there. When you look at security, Zoom uses AES encryption. So when data is in motion, of course, the data is encrypted. And when data is at rest, that means if you do a recording or if you send a chat of information, then that data is in an encrypted environment as well. The physical safeguards, of course, redundancy of servers, so data is practiced up. And the administrative safeguards is just understanding how to actually handle information and data that may be sensitive from a patient health information perspective. So, of course, Zoom focuses on all of those things.
Shriram Life, has a very wide portfolio of services under its roof. What are the different scenarios in which a system like, Zoom for telehealthcare can be provided, can be proved to be useful, in the current situation?
Yeah, actually, we are using Zoom only. So as compared with Shriram, we think about from Shriram Life Insurance, we are facing mainly one challenges we are facing from Zoom. Okay, all are the rural people only giving the policies for life insurance. At the time they don't know all the Play Store for mobile. This one for mobile app compulsory required whenever we are taking this video KYC like that from that customers. Though it nearly 60 MB or 70 MB Zoom application is there whenever they are trying to download from Play Store. So for that purpose only, we are facing that issue only from Zoom side. Either both way is applicable, that is better from Zoom side. So with single URL only.
So, in the Indian context, we see that rural healthcare accessibility is very low. How can Zoom telemedicine overcome that?
That's haven't been to India. It's very interesting. And if you look at some of the data points, India really provides a unique situation, I think, even more so than some other countries, as far as sort of the rural urban divide. And some of the statistics, that if you look at the World Bank in 2019, they had that 65.53% of Indians actually live in rural areas. All right. But in the same study, basically that 80% of doctors are located in urban areas, right? So we have not just a shortage of healthcare professionals and a shortage of beds, but we have this huge maldistribution of where providers are located and where patients are actually located and the people of India are located. So, Zoom and telemedicine and telehealth in general really has a unique opportunity to close that gap. And how can it make a difference? I mean, just at the very basic level, we know that there's a correlation between quality of care and access to care. The increased access to care that you have, the increased quality of care that you have. And technology, not just in India, but just continually helps fill that void that we have. And the whole concept is that it's more efficient to move information than it is to move people. And I think that even holds more true when you look at some of the reality of geography in India. For a lot of folks of socioeconomic status of trying to get from one location to the other. And then, as I already said, sort of the maldistribution of where the providers are compared to where actually people are living. The majority of the people live throughout the country.
That's a good point, Ron.
We know that the pandemic has accelerated the use and adoption of video conferencing, especially for the healthcare sector globally. So as we transition into a post-pandemic phase, do you think that video will still be an important and integral part post the pandemic?
So, Alvi, as you said, like we are doing the transition to post-pandemic phase. Now here the patients, even the healthcare providers, they are more and more familiar, comfortable with the telehealth solution. In fact, I can say the demand for healthcare is going to grow by 2025. Uh, as we have seen in the last 2 years, there is a triple growth in the telehealth sector. And there are predictions that this market is going to sevenfold growth by 2025. See, most of the healthcare industry adopted the telehealth program because of the pandemic. Now it's the time they are moving to a more strategic approach. They are building a more competitive program of telehealth capabilities and offerings so that they can reach out to more patients. They can have more market share. So some of the important things they consider is like, one is the high quality, reliable audio and video so that they can communicate, examine, diagnose, monitor, and treat patients virtually. Even like there are, like you may be aware, like there are patients in rural areas with low bandwidths and outdated devices. So the focus is how to increase your reach. The second point is it should meet all the clinical needs. Like there is a need to integrate with the medical devices. There is a need to integrate with the diagnostic tools. There are clinical applications that needs to be integrated with the VC platforms. So the idea is to provide a more streamlined and comprehensive patient care. Now, since we are moving from a like physical environment to the virtual, lot of emphasis are there on the regulatory compliance, like with keeping to the data protection. There is a lot of data, patient data that is being there on the virtual platform. They want it to be secure and private. The last point is it has to be extremely user friendly. It has to be easy access to so that all the patients, whether they are having some special needs or they are not like that tech savvy, so they should be able to use the platform. So to summarize, telehealth will continue to play a major role treating patients where they are, where irrespective that they are at home or they are on the go or in person. So with this shift, the industry is definitely going to reduce cost. We are going to save lot many resources. We are also increasing the access to the healthcare, and definitely it's leading to the improvement in patient outcomes.
What about you, Guru Shekhar? Do you think that the scope of telehealth, should be expanded beyond the pandemic?
Yes, yes. We can use after the pandemic the digital platform. So this is very helpful before after COVID also. So we will continue this solution, whatever you are provided like that. We will continue this.
Okay. Doctors today at different locations, can connect through Zoom and collaborate in real time. So Ron, as the head of global healthcare at Zoom, what do you think real-time collaboration for patient care means today to the healthcare industry?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because depending on where organizations are along the spectrum, when I say the spectrum, it depends on what sort of care. A lot of it could just mean basic access to care, connecting to a provider, right? That could be one level of it. Another level it could be after that is maybe it's under capitated rates where an organization is getting a certain amount of money and they basically did like in a public system, like in Indian's public system, like they have a certain budget and they need to take care of people with that budget. It can increase efficiencies, communication. So it's the patient seeing the doctor, but it could also be the next level of like wellness and prevention and care coordination. So we're educating people to change behaviors so we don't have exacerbations and have basically worse clinical conditions, and we're providing better care so we have better outcomes in the long term that are less expensive, better quality of life for patients, of course, which is the key component here. But also increasing efficiencies in overstrained systems. As far as communication within healthcare systems, just on a unified collaboration basis, on a day-to-day basis, of course, Zoom does a lot of that. It's just how do we increase efficiencies across organizations and have connectivity and coordination, and collaboration is being used on a day-to-day basis. So they're using it for medical education. So the body of knowledge of medicine doubles every 4 to 6 years. India has so much knowledge and just so much great information, some of the world's best physicians. And so how do we get that medical knowledge from those who have it to those who don't? Communication and is part of that. How do we do internal trainings across an organization? It's part of that. How do we, as I said, educate patients in their homes for wellness and prevention? So we change behavior so they have better outcomes. Of course, communication and the Zoom platform is a big part of that. Telemedicine, virtual care, but also using like telemedicine cards where you're looking at for telestroke or maybe mental health in an inpatient setting. And then all of the other kind of collaboration sort of day-to-day platforms like multidisciplinary team meetings where you have a group of clinicians in, let's say, a large center of excellence within India, and they're reaching out more to a rural area and they have the rural provider and they're making decisions as a team, what's best for the patient.
There is always a learning curve, around new technologies, especially in the healthcare sector. And when it is a hybrid environment, it does put a lot of pressure, on healthcare providers. As a healthcare insurance company, what approach do you think is needed, to be successful to run a virtual platform?
Yeah, nowadays that all are cloud only. We are also using cloud solutions, okay, like a Zoom, that and all, okay. So we are using for training solutions also. So nowadays the physical classrooms are not available due to this situation. We are giving, with the help of Zoom only, we are giving the training that and all regarding healthcare or we are giving the training regarding that.
So Ron, based on clinical statistics and number of users, how important is Zoom to the Indian market, and Indian telehealthcare market, or any developing market right now?
I gave some statistics earlier with approximately 65% of Indians living in rural areas and 80% of clinicians living in urban areas. With that gap of where people are compared to where the providers are, it even becomes more important, right? So we have the geography and then we have the demographics of that gap across. So we have large amounts, just the population in general. So telemedicine to me becomes more and more important because we can increase efficiencies. There are actually studies out there, and if you talk to a lot of organizations, people say that telemedicine visits last longer. Actually, on average, telemedicine visits are shorter than an in-person visit. Because people seem to get on and they get in and they get on with it and they talk about the actual clinical piece of it and they move very, very quickly. So as far as time and everything and clinician time, we find that it's really in many cases it can be an increased efficiency as far as the use of clinician time. So when we look at the population and the healthcare provider shortage and the maldistribution, and having been in India and traveled in many places in India, it will help reach the rural villages. It'll help connect the larger centers of excellence to the secondary centers in some of the second tier cities as far as size goes. But it won't just be about telemedicine, but it'll also be about those other things I talked about medical education, so that smaller center in a rural area of India, those clinicians are practicing at the very top of the license through expertise and through education on things that they've learned from the larger centers.
Can you share some, real life examples of how Zoom is being used in, the telehealthcare sector in India and other developing nations?
Well, the first thing I think, because of COVID, I think we're all aware of, it's being used for what we call video assisted virtual visits. So the provider basically can be on their computer, and then the patient usually is on a mobile device, and they connect and they provide care from a distance. And when you look at most of those programs, there are processes and there are protocols in place that actually dictate what can be accomplished by just getting subjective data, basically talking to someone. And then when they may need to come in and get a higher level assessment, which is where you get what we call objective data, maybe looking in an ear or maybe doing a throat swab, let's say if it's strep throat or something like that. Or they might just treat the patient as is. So it continues to grow in that regards. So video assisted virtual visits. The other way that it's being used in developing markets, just like in other markets, is in the actual facilities within hospitals and facilities. And during COVID, we saw a large uptake just to decrease the exposure and decrease the amount of PPE wearables that needed to be put in place. was you would have this technology in the room, and a doctor could even be 20 feet away at the nursing station, and they would actually be providing clinical care to those patients with a nurse in the room. But then you could also have a doctor from 100 kilometers or 200 kilometers away provide high-level specialty care. So that's another way that the technology is being used in India, is in the inpatient setting. And then even pre-COVID, like telestroke, mental health, and then other levels of primary care. So facility-based telemedicine, and then what we call video-assisted virtual visits into the home are the two key areas.
I'm sure reaching out to customers physically for insurance-related activities must have been really difficult in today's times. How has Zoom helped you and your team to smoothen things out with customers? And what has this, tool changed for you today?
Yes, ma'am. With the help of Zoom, we can directly contact any meeting participants, okay, without any time lag or without any traveling lag also.
So, Rohit, thank you so much for joining us. Is there something that you would want to say, towards the pandemic or in general about Zoom or Rahi before we close off?
See, I think with Zoom as a unified communication platform, it has contributed a lot to the success of our customers. First of all, it is highly reliable and it has a very good quality. The kind of HD quality and audio that is required to assess the patients carefully. Otherwise, doctors will not be able to see the reports properly. There is a lot of content they need to remotely access. So I must say, like, Zoom has really supported even on the low bandwidth requirements. We have customers who are in rural areas, they are working in off-grid locations, but the Zoom comprehensive solution enabled a very good quality on the low bandwidth environment. The ease of use has made the deployment very easy. The transformation from physical consultation to the teleconsultation, it was only possible because of the ease of use. And above all, the security features like the HIPAA compliance, AES 256 encryption, and host of other collaboration features like screen sharing, whiteboarding, annotation. There are privacy features like waiting rooms. So for few hospitals, Zoom has gone ahead and allowed API access for integration to their healthcare applications, so that it's a very integrated one-touch kind of approach for the customer to book the appointments, to search for the right healthcare treatment they are looking for. So Zoom has increased the quality of healthcare, and definitely this engagement will definitely improve the overall quality care of the patients. Thank you.
So Ron, I just wanted to thank you for joining us on this panel. And I also wanted to know if you had any closing statements or anything that you would like to say on Zoom's behalf for the healthcare industry and the current situation.
No, it's just just recently we saw a very large uptake of an upturn of the cases of COVID in India, and I just want to give my heartfelt thoughts and to the good people of India, and I hope this passes very, very quickly as you go through this next phase of COVID.